You are a lifelong learner, right? So even after you finish your graduate program, even after you become a clinical psychologist, here's the thing, you will consistently, constantly be learning, whether through continuing education credits or going through conferences or reading books. But hopefully you continue to do your own research, you continue to learn, you continue to grow and adapt your methods in terms of therapeutic practice. That is all about having an open mindset in terms of constantly growing in this field. What is up, fam? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Phil Sarpong. This is Phil's Guide to PsyD. This channel is dedicated to all things psychology, wellness, and graduate school. Today we're going to be talking about some different things that I think might be important if you're trying to figure out whether or not clinical psychology is for you and whether or not you want to become a psychologist. If you have not already, please subscribe to the channel. You can hit the bell for notifications for videos that we do in the future. I've been in your shoes in terms of trying to figure out if this is really the right step for you, and I think there are some evidence-based methods and things that have been researched that show some of the qualities and characteristics of psychologists. And so if you can go into this list with an open mind in terms of what you might already be doing or what are some of the qualities that you already have, and so that might be really beneficial for you in terms of making sure that this field really matches your self-interest and what you want to do in the future. And so that leads into the first tip, which is really having a passion. Now, the way to kind of cultivate that passion, again, is going to be through asking those questions, researching the field, shadowing as much as you can. But I think in having just a general passion for understanding human behavior, you've put yourself already in a really good position to have an open perspective and an open mind about clinical psychology by just having that initial self-interest about human behavior and about why people do what they do. The other thing is going to be strong communication skills. Now, don't worry necessarily about speaking up in front of people and doing speeches and all of that other stuff. There is a lot of opportunities in clinical psychology school to get a lot of practice when it does come to speaking. You're going to do a lot of presentations. Obviously, you're going to be sitting with clients and doing a lot of communicating with them. I did not realize how much communication was involved in clinical psychology until I got into it. And I started realizing that I was doing a lot of speaking and a lot of talking, but whether I was in practicum settings or in school settings, I was being asked to speak all the time, whether it's for clinical presentations or speaking with patients. There's just a lot of speaking things that you do, and it's not necessarily a bad thing because a lot of it is just communication. And that communication can happen orally, but it can also happen technologically in terms of sending emails and messages. It could also happen with your body language and how you approach yourself with other people in terms of the patients or the clientele. And so being a really strong communicator is going to serve you well in terms of the career, and it's something to think about in terms of looking into this career. The other thing that I'll mention is just having an open mind and a curiosity to learning things. There's so much that I still do not know about the field that I'm constantly learning. And so if you have that approach in terms of you are a lifelong learner, right? So even after you finish your graduate program, even after you become a clinical psychologist, here's the thing, you will consistently, constantly be learning, whether through continuing education credits or going through conferences or reading books. But hopefully you continue to do your own research, you continue to learn, you continue to grow and adapt your methods in terms of therapeutic practice. That is all about having an open mindset in terms of constantly growing in this field. The other thing is resilience and self-awareness. Resilience mainly because you're going to be listening to a lot of hard things that clients are going to say, and there's going to be a lot of aspects of self-awareness where you might have to have the self-awareness and knowledge of yourself to really take a step back, to really engage in self-care, to really look to supervision or consultation if there's a case that's too overwhelming or complex for you, to ask for help, to say no when you need to say no. I mean, all of those different things come from self-awareness and help prevent you from burning out and going through compassion fatigue. And so if you can have that forefront of your mind, I think that's going to be really important. The other thing is just having patience and tolerance for ambiguity. I mean, there's going to be so many times where you just don't know the answer answer to a client's problem. And you might have to be okay with that. There's gonna be so many times where you want to fix things in people's lives and you really can't fix it. You can only guide them, you can only help them, you can only ask those questions. It's not like you can really control the person, right? And so there's gonna be a lot of things that are outside of your control where it's gonna be really important to just think about your internal locus of control and to think about the things that you can do for yourself, right? At the end of the day, the clients can only do the necessary things for themselves, and you are just a person that is just facilitating and guiding along their journey. And so that's really important to consider in terms of there might be different things that you try in the therapy setting that just doesn't work. And it's okay. It's okay to be able to be reflexive and flexible in trying to try different things and being patient with yourself about the process, but also being patient towards the patients about their own process. Here's the other thing to really consider as well is that I think a lot of times people get into this career and they have really high expectations for the career, or they might have really high expectations for the program that they're a part of. They might have really high expectations for the internship they go into, or high expectations for the postdoc. It's not bad to have expectations, but I think a lot of times I've seen students get really down in terms of having these high expectations and realizing that, listen, the program is not perfect. You yourself are not perfect. And there are definitely going to be challenges and demands of the career. The career is going to demand your attention, your time, your energy, obviously the money that you put into in terms of paying off student loans. But I think the important part is, what are you giving back to yourself and so that you can continually give to other people? Here are some questions to ask yourself in terms of whether or not this career might truly be for you. Are you genuinely passionate about helping others and understanding human behavior? The next question is, do you possess the necessary qualities of empathy, of communication, of resiliency to thrive in this field? Are you willing to commit to the education and training required for a career in psychology? And the final question is, do you have a clear understanding of maybe some of the ethical responsibilities of being a clinical psychologist, but also challenges that come along with this profession? I cannot stress this enough in terms of shadowing a psychologist or talking to a psychologist or calling them or emailing them. Some of the questions or concerns or comments that you might have about the field, I think the more questions that you can ask, the more clear some of these things will be for you in terms of what might be the right decision. If you have any questions, definitely put it down in the comment section below. If you have not already, again, please subscribe to the channel. I will see you all in the next video.